And we're live. Thanks for joining us for another episode of 4 Quarters. All sports, every day, all day. And she's a babe. I really got to stop talking about Aaron Rodgers.
My money's on that.
And to no surprise, my shout out, Caitlin Clark. And we're live.
And we're live. Yep.
Are we
Sorry.
live?
Yeah, we are. It was before you said it. I was just processing this and then processing what you just said.
Processing what I said.
And I was just like, oh, how's everyone doing, guys?
Hey, how is everybody? Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. We're on Wednesdays. And instead of Friday, we've been Friday for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Wednesdays are harder. And is it just the mental side of, oh, it's Friday? Mm-hmm. And now we're like, oh, it's hump day.
2 more days of work. Yeah.
You know.
But 3-day weekend this weekend?
There's a 3-day weekend.
Wheels wasn't here anyway. Why didn't we just do this on Friday?
On Friday?
Yeah. Anyways.
Wheels is not here because that girl will be umping a lot of softball.
Yep.
She's either going to be watching Otter Valley softball and watching Addie, mm-hmm. or she's going to be umping, or she's going to be playing. Mm-hmm. So she might have a, what do you call it?
Sabbatical?
Yeah, let's use that word for the summer, and I don't blame her one bit. We're going to talk a little bit about Otter Valley softball. CB, what sticks out in your mind right off the bat when you think of sports last weekend?
Oh, so many things.
So many things.
Too many games. Too many games.
Mine is college women's softball.
Yep.
Well, obviously, women's softball.
For me, probably more the Yankees and the Mets, and then the W.
And I'm getting a lot better at projecting things.
We nailed it.
I nailed that
nailed it.
Mets series. I said Yankees 2-1. Only game they have a chance to win was Saturday, which is the one they squeaked out.
I was going to say, that was a close game. Did you? We'll talk about it too. But did you hear everything going on with Juan Soto?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a Juan Soto fan, so I'm just like.
And I think. So
what do I say?
Yeah.
What do I say? What do I say?
My friend texted me this.
Batting .243, isn't he?
Yep. And
great.
Apparently, for all who don't know, so the Yankees played the Mets. It was at Yankee Stadium. But I mean, come on, it's a Subway Series. You have a Mets fan there too. But specifically, Juan Soto plays right field. And that's where the bleach creatures are.
Yeah.
And they do the roll call every night.
Yeah.
And so when Juan Soto came out, A, he just got booed every single time he came up.
Sure.
And B, when he walked out to the right field the first time, everyone turned their backs on him.
I love it. I'm sorry, but I do. As a Yankees fan, if I'm sitting there, I do the same exact thing.
We take it personally, but apparently it says
take it personally.
We do. So he also agreed to be mic'd up by ESPN originally for the Sunday night game, and then backed out last minute because I think it says he'd agreed to be mic'd up by ESPN in the second inning, but changed his mind minutes before the game. Soto told the Mets officials he was tired of answering questions about Yankees captain Aaron Judge and sick of explaining why he chose the Mets. The man is downright miserable. Although Soto said he was ready for the homecoming, he was shell-shocked by the time Sunday night rolled in. 3 sellout crowds broke him. And then Michael K. People in the know say that Juan Soto wanted to be a Yankee. He chose the Yankees, but his family wanted him to be a Met, so he chose the Mets. But apparently the Mets executives are worried about his lack of enthusiasm for his new team. The only time Soto seemed happy this weekend was while he interacted with Judge, manager Aaron Boone, and second baseman Jazz Chisholm. But you can't be that sad about him because he's making almost $1 billion over the next 15 years.
I'm not sad for him. I echo what I said last year during baseball season. Mm-hmm. Just stay with the Yankees.
He had so much fun.
Just stay. He was having the time of his life.
He had that swagger. He wasn't doing the, what they call it, the Soto crawl or something like that.
He was having fun.
He was having fun.
When you watched him start his career with the Nationals, mm-hmm. he was just a young kid.
Yep.
And he was just having a good old time.
Yep.
With San Diego, I don't know. I'm not going to say he was having the time of his life.
A lot of expectations.
Yeah, there was a huge difference when he was traded to the Yankees.
Yep.
and just watching him for 1 year in the Bronx.
Yep.
And all I said all last year, and you said it too, and
Yep.
Wheels said it too, just stay in New York.
Yeah.
With the Yankees, not
Yeah,
the Mets.
yeah.
Just stay with
Yeah.
the Yanks.
Yeah.
Don't. And money-wise, the Yankees were offering you...
Pretty much the same thing.
Yep. So you have to let your family know,
Yeah.
I get it, but it's all about
Yeah.
my happiness
Right.
too, because this contract covers
Yeah.
possibly the rest of my baseball career.
And also, like, when are you going to have better protection
Yes.
than Aaron Judge?
Right.
He had
Indeed.
he had the year that he had because he had
Yep.
Aaron Judge next behind
Yep.
him, and they had to pitch
Yep.
to him.
Yep, I agree on all fronts.
So it's like
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
You know, he's batting 243. You barely hear his name mentioned.
Yep.
At the beginning of the year, it was Alonso, and it's pretty much been a steady
Yep.
Francisco Lindor for the Mets.
Yep.
But that's it.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be losing one-run games. You know, I knew they were gonna. I thought they were gonna get swept by the Yankees. But then you turn around, and you lose 2 games to the Red Sox.
Yep.
And after the Red Sox, you're playing the Dodgers.
Yep.
And this
Well, the
is
Dodgers just got swept by the Angels.
True. But as we're approaching a third
Yeah.
of the way through the season,
Yep.
he should be putting up big-time numbers.
Yep.
He should be having some fun.
Yep.
To me, the only guy having fun on that team is Francisco Lindor. He always
Oh,
is
yeah.
having fun.
Yeah.
I just didn't see him fitting, and
Yeah.
I can't give you the reasoning why.
Yeah.
I just saw him fit so well with the Yankees that I'm like, don't
Yeah.
go,
Yeah.
don't go.
What'd you think about that Pete Alonso throw?
I didn't see that.
Oh,
I didn't see it.
Yep. It was a.
Was it bad?
Yeah, it was real bad. It was real bad. He was like right there, and he had to throw it. He had to throw it to home to get the person out, and he
I was
could've-
probably watching softball. I
and
have to
he
be
just,
honest.
it was
Whiffed it?
bad. Yeah, he just whiffed
Biffed it, whiffed it?
Really, really bad. Really bad. It was embarrassing. And then that was the inning that they ended up scoring the grand slam.
Oh, that was when Bellinger hit the grand slam. I love Cody Bellinger.
Yeah, me too. I'm so happy he's doing better.
When I chat with your dad about the Mets, it's a short conversation because we both know.
Yeah.
It's like when you cheer for a team for 30 years, whatever, and he's like, they're either good in the beginning or at the end.
Yeah.
And I think I said this last week, and I'm like, you're right. And they started out really good.
Yep.
They looked like they could compete no matter who the opposition was. But ever since that Yankees series,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, now we're going to lose to the Red Sox.
Yep.
Could get swept.
Yep.
And then we're going to go play the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about a team that was sitting, not comfortably, but was sitting in
Yeah.
first place in the East, and now they're in second. And the Atlanta Braves are the hottest team, which we
Right.
all knew that was going to
gonna
happen.
Yeah.
And they got Spencer Strider back.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at it going, geez, this is why I didn't pick them
And-
to even get a wild card
Right.
spot.
And like the biggest question is their pitching was overachieving.
Yeah.
Is,
Oh, absolutely.
Is overachieving than what it should
Absolutely.
be. And it just, you wonder if that, does that come back to earth?
Right.
Right.
Because Canning and I'm trying to think, Peterson, they have been
They're
solid
yeah,
for
they're
the
lights
first
out.
third of the season.
Yeah.
And they have great arms in AA, AAA. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Minea should be back soon. Who's the other one? Montas. Montas.
Well, you know how I feel
and
about
I'm
Montas.
like, I'm not in a hurry for him to be. I'd
know-
rather have who you have now
Yeah.
and insert Minea into that
Absolutely.
rotation.
You need Minea back. You don't
Yeah.
send Montas, send him to the bullpen. Have
Sure.
him be your long reliever.
Sure.
Like,
I like
when you
that.
just need someone to eat up
like that.
innings,
Yeah.
have him be your long reliever. I'm not a big fan of Montas.
So as we opened with baseball,
Yep.
because
We got a little
you knew we
sidetracked.
would. No, my biggest shout out for this episode is to the Detroit Tigers. Mm-hmm. I meant to shout them out
Yes.
last week, and I didn't get to it. Best record in baseball, 33 wins. Mm-hmm. I think behind them is the Phillies, Cubs, which I love that,
How many wins?
and the Dodgers with 30 wins.
How many wins did they have in a row? 13?
The Tigers?
Yeah.
It was right around there.
13, I think.
It was right around there.
Yeah.
They got a good manager. They got some good veteran and youth.
Yeah.
They got the best pitcher in baseball, I think. But then you look to the National League, and the Phillies, to me, going to run away with the East.
Mm-hmm.
Love that the Cubs have 30 wins.
Yes.
Dodgers, of course, no-brainer there.
Yep.
I think the Yankees have 28, 29 wins. But Detroit Tigers, man. I know I picked the Guardians to win the Central.
Yes. I can't remember who I chose.
And I don't know why I didn't pay more attention to the Tigers, who made the
Right.
playoffs last year.
Yeah.
It's not like we're talking about a team that, they're all of a sudden good. They were good last
I think
year.
we always forget about them.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. You want to talk dogs? Nothing really to talk about,
But they are in need of
Big
some
time.
fosters, big time. And if
Big time.
if it makes you feel any better, I think they have like a litter of like black lab puppies in like Massachusetts or something that's on their way. They're adorable, but honestly, if you have the space, if you have the time, you know,
foster.
yeah, foster. Yeah.
They're pups. You know that they're going to
Yep.
get.
They're usually there for like a week or maybe up to a month, but you're just like helping them acclimate, get used to being a dog.
Yep.
And gosh, and
I am thinking about it, and I know I say this every week, but I am thinking about fostering.
Yep.
Especially because there's an overabundance now.
Yep.
And it'll be good. It'll give Freya someone to.
Yeah.
Well, she'll be scared to death. Bo will bark, and she'll be scared to death. With that being said, one of our little focuses is going to be a question of the week, and it has nothing to do with sports. It comes from our dear friend Ashley Pelkey, who sent me a question. I don't know what night. When did she send you the question?
Oh gosh,
Tuesday morning?
Yes, it might. Yes, Tuesday
So
morning.
she sent it to me Monday night.
Yep.
And CB's going to read the question. I'm going to have CB read the question because it's very fascinating. And if you're listening and you have a dog,
You know what they
let
need.
it marinate and think about it.
Okay. You know how dogs just have the soul that stays the same their whole lives? So thinking about reincarnation, look your dog square in the face and decide what stage of life their soul is stuck in. For her, I just decided Lucy, our beagle's definitely stuck at a freshman college girl level.
And then she responded an hour later, and her fiance Ryan said that she's just a rich girl, that very smart, but just is always going to live at home and mooch off her parents. And in the father's eyes can do no wrong,
Yep.
because literally in Ryan's eyes, Lucy can do no wrong.
Yep.
So I was laughing hysterically. So the next day at work, she's like, "You think I'm crazy for asking you that question last night?" And I'm like, "Not at all." So I looked in Freya's eyes, Freya is a unique and very unique dog. And she happened to be staring at me as I was reading the text from Ashley. And I just looked at her, and I think she's 6 now. She's 5 or 6, has never changed. So I'm like, I don't know if she's stuck in elementary. I'm going to give her the benefit and stick her in junior high.
Yep.
She's definitely stuck in junior high, just not sure what way, where am I going in life?
Yep.
You know, what am I doing? Yeah, I'm about to approach high school, but I don't know what to do.
Right.
And some days she's going to steal your lunch money. And other days you're going to say hi to her and she's going to run the other way.
Yep.
And I don't think she can, she's a tomboy.
Yeah.
I don't think she can figure out what crowd she wants to hang out with. That's a junior high thing.
Yep. Yep.
She's stuck there.
Yeah.
And she's been like that since day one.
Yep.
So then I quickly glanced over at Bo and decided that he is a retired history teacher. Definitely. He's very sophisticated. And for some reason, I could see him smoking a cigar, but I went with his passion is collecting high-end bourbon. Because he's just that sophisticated look, crossing the paws, very chill. I mean, he's 13.
Yep. He's very chill.
So did you have one for Sophie?
Yep. So Sophie is also very unique. I said midlife crisis.
I like that.
Because she's always freaking out about something.
Yep.
And she also is in that I still want to run like a 2-year-old, but then I'm going to start limping afterwards if I lay down too long.
And her age again is?
She's 9.
Okay, I had it right.
She's
8.
9.
Okay.
So she still thinks she's young, but she's not. She forgets, and then she's always just freaking out about something.
I sometimes think I'm in my 40s and I think I should be able to run, and then I'm like Sophie. I remember it hurts the next day.
I was having a conversation with a coworker who's like 10 plus years younger than me.
Oh my God, somebody younger than you finally.
I know.
Jesus.
And then we were talking about high school, and I realized that there's a whole adult who can vote between me and when I graduated from high school. And I was like, yo, there's a whole ass adult between me and high school. And that hit me, I'm not gonna lie, that hit me hard.
You crack me up. Oh my God. Oh, I'm going to insert this before I forget, because we were supposed to end our show last week with the Ricky Henderson question.
Yep.
Ricky Henderson's on second, bottom of the 9th, Game 7 of the World Series. Tony Gwynn hits a liner to right. What right fielder from any era do you want? You want to know who your dad's answer was?
Oh, who was my dad's answer?
Aaron Judge.
Oh, of course he did.
Aaron Judge. He
course he
didn't
did.
hesitate.
Yeah.
So I said,
He's
well,
a big Judge fan.
yeah, and I said, well, I said Dwight Evans when
Yeah.
I first read about this,
Yeah.
and the first right fielder. Your dad kind of gave me a blank look, so
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we're going to go somewhere else
Yeah.
with it. CB and I got off the air last Friday, and I went, oh, man, I forgot to end it with who we picked.
Yeah.
And I was going to say who I was going to pick, and
Yeah.
then CB was. So I looked at CB and I go, Roberto Clemente. And that literally
Was
your
first,
pick.
Yeah, that was my pick.
When you looked at me and said, that was my pick.
Yep.
And I'm like, what?
Come on, he's got to be one of the best defensive, from a defensive perspective.
12 consecutive gold gloves. What else do you have to say?
Yeah.
12 consecutive gold gloves.
Yep.
And, I'll put Judge in that convo.
Yeah.
And I will put Dwight Evans still.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Some of the right fielders that I was reading about, but again, I think we're looking at too many offensive statistics here. Babe Ruth. No.
No.
Good God,
Man
no.
was drunk half the time.
So, again, offense we're looking at
Yep.
here. Hank Aaron.
Oh, yeah. But
Frank
again,
Robinson.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Solid.
Absolutely.
Mookie Betts was thrown into the conversation.
Really?
I found that fascinating.
What's his arm like? I obviously know he's fast and he's a good fielder, but
And it says literally from 2014 to 2024. And I'm
he
like,
wasn't an outfielder.
That's where I'm like, this is wrong.
Yeah.
Then Roberto Clemente is in there from 1955 to 1972.
Yep.
12 consecutive gold gloves.
Yep.
Mel Ott is in there. I am wearing this
Mel Ott.
T-shirt because next up was Ichiro Suzuki.
I love Ichiro. He was solid. He was
I would
quick.
gladly put him out there
He
too.
was quick. He had a good arm.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, and I loved seeing him start that lead off. Oh, he was
One
so
of my
fun.
favorites.
He was
I had
so
to
fun.
dig this out. It's a little wrinkled, but I didn't care. Has his name on the back. Reggie Jackson.
Oh yeah.
Larry Walker, who I know from going to all those Montreal Expos games, a stud, really a stud. And then Aaron Judge and Tony Gwynn, Dwight Evans, and Vlad Guerrero round out the top 14
Vlad
right
Guerrero.
field. Right? But I still stick with Roberto
Me
Clemente.
too. From a purely defensive perspective, 100%.
Did you have a Caitlin Clark shout out though?
Yeah, I have a couple of shout outs.
Okay.
And we'll talk about the W. I don't know if we're
We
talking
will
about.
probably spend the whole time talking about the W.
So WNBA kicked off this past weekend. It was rivalry weekend.
Certainly was.
I think they made up some of these rivalries.
Yep.
But the two hot games were Vegas versus Liberty, and I think both Lori and I are trying to, recover from that Aces game.
It was what I expected though.
It's
There's just no fight in them when they
there's
play
no
the Liberty.
fight.
There is no fight.
There's no fight.
And we're going to talk about our all-dog team, which will hit on the Liberty.
Yeah.
And I'll just go ahead.
And then the other big game was Chicago versus Indiana. And so also shout out, I think that's the highest regular season WNBA game ever. I think it was like
Attendance-wise?
Viewed, watched.
Oh, viewed.
I think
viewed.
it was like 3 or 4 million
I
people
mean, nobody was
watched
going to
it.
miss that game. Nobody.
But in last night's game, Caitlin Clark tied for first place, having a 20-point, 10-assist game. So she got 10 last night.
Wow, good
So
for her.
I think did she tie Vandersloot?
Yes, that is
tied
exactly who
Vandersloot,
she tied. Yes.
But
yes.
Vandersloot did it in like 430 games, and this is Caitlin's like 45th
Holy
or 44th.
shit.
42nd. I don't know how many games.
Whoa.
And she also, yep. So shout out to Caitlin Clark. Because
Absolutely.
That
Absolutely.
is amazing.
Wheels, we got you. We'll keep shouting her out as well.
Yep. And then my other shout out is Angel Reese. She became the fastest player to 450 points and 450 rebounds. So shout out to Angel Reese.
Crap, those two.
Yeah, and it just
They're
goes
killing
to,
it.
Yeah, just goes to show you guys.
Wow.
The talent.
And we named the show Flagrant 1, and if you watch that game, you're going to know why. And we'll dissect that a little bit more after the shout-outs and
Yep.
as we head into the second half, because I think, well, we all have our own view.
Yeah.
I mean, we all do, and yeah, that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to give a shout out to Mike Vrabel, and I know that everybody knows I don't cheer for the New England Patriots, only because I've been a long
no one
time
on this
suffering
podcast does.
Dolphin fan.
No one on this podcast does.
Well, that's true too. But I will, and I know I've said it on the podcast, I think New England had one of the best off seasons, and I'm talking free agency, and I'm talking the draft. I firmly believe when we get closer to the NFL and we do our predictions, I will put Miami in last place in the East. And they didn't make enough changes, and New England's they're gonna fight for a wild card spot.
Yep.
But one player, his name is Jack Gibbons, and it was just a picture of Vrabel coaching, and Gibbons quotes, "I just love the accountability," and that is my favorite word.
Yep.
You get what you work for here. And it shows Vrabel coaching them, and I'm like, so true. The culture, and I'm nothing against the past coach, but the culture in New England has changed as soon as Mike Vrabel signed on the dotted line and walked into that building. And he is one of those coaches I cheer for.
Yeah.
And Drake May, as much as we tossed around Drake May doesn't have it, he might.
Yep.
He just might.
I mean, he gave you everything you could have asked for from a rookie.
And with that being said, take a guess, CB. You know I'm a mock draft person, and it should be fantasy time, but I looked ahead to the 2026 NFL draft.
Okay.
And guess how many quarterbacks they're predicting? Because remember, we only had one in the top 10, and we had Dart as the Giants traded back in. Guess how many are predicted to go in the top 8?
Top 8. Oh, I thought you were just going to go first round.
Top 8.
5.
You are so damn close. 4.
Oh, okay.
And it could change to 5 by the time we get around to that next April. You got Arch Manning, of course, out of Texas. Cade Klubnik, who I love, out of Clemson, right here. And Lenoris Sellers is who I'm going to beg you to watch. He plays for the South Carolina Gamecocks. And Drew Aller, who is the quarterback out of Penn State, who solid, just solid. You've already got 4 quarterbacks in the top 8, and it's subject to change.
Yep.
But I laugh because the year before, we had the 6 in the top 12. We only had 1 in the top 12 this past year. So it's always fun for me to look at that stuff. High school sports. I told Wheels we would do this shout out, and it's a much deserved shout out. You hear her talk a lot about her niece Addie, who we're big fans of here on 4 Quarters. And we're getting deep into the high school spring season right now, but nothing bigger than their game the other night against Hartford. And Hartford Hurricanes are a school we talk about all the time.
Yep.
They're always good. A 7-6 win.
Damn.
By Otter Valley, and they literally are neck and neck in the standings. I was trying to remember, and I was trying to remember the name of the pitcher. I think I have it down here. Serenity Martell for Hartford. She carried into that game a no-hitter with 2 outs in the 4th inning.
Damn.
And Hartford was up 4-0.
Wow.
Otter Valley comes back and wins 7-6, a 3-run 5th inning. And we got to give a huge shout out to Sophie Parker, the pitcher for Otter Valley. So Martell for the Hurricanes had 14 strikeouts.
Holy crap.
Parker for Otter Valley had 12 strikeouts.
Damn.
And she also had a big RBI double in the 5th inning. Parker did. Which drove in 1 run, and that pulled them to 4-3. So already at that point, now it's starting to get into the head of Martell a little bit, and they scored an insurance run in the top of the 6th, Hartford, and Otter Valley had a huge, I'm trying to remember when it was, 6th inning. Yep. They had a big 6th inning when they scored 4 runs to take a 5-0 lead. They loaded the bases with 2 singles and a pinch hit batter, And that gave the Otters the bases loaded, and then Martell got 2 strikeouts. Boom, boom. Yeah. So you almost think they're going to get out of the inning, but then she delivered 3 straight walks.
Oh my gosh.
And a few wild pitches and a few passed balls, and all of a sudden it was 7-5.
Damn.
And Hartford did not go away quietly in the top of the 7th. Where they scored the 1 run. Again, I think Martell was big on that side of it. But a huge freaking win for Otter Valley softball. So I want to give her, Addie, and the crew, and Sophie Parker a huge shout out. As I look at the standings, Otter Valley sits at 9-3, and they're the 5th seed. Hartford below them at the 6th seed at 7-3. And a shout out to U32 softball again, because they are right below Hartford with a record of 7-5. Rice, Linden Institute, Mount Abe, Enosburg are above them 1-4. So just a big win for Addie and her teammates. Gosh, we still got a good 3 weeks left.
Yeah.
But we're getting there. It just goes by way too fast. Another spotlight I want to give is on Spalding girls lacrosse that started the season 0-9 under first-year coach Amanda Arnold and have won 3 in a row.
Nice.
Latest coming against Hartford 14-11, where 14-11. Okay. Peyton LaPearl for Spalding had a career high 8 goals.
Jeez.
8 goals. So they extended their winning streak to 3 games. And I love this quote. Our team has really started putting the pieces together, and it's a privilege to coach such a hard-working group of players.
Nice.
That quote from Coach Amanda Arnold in her first year at the helm. And I got to tell you, my 26 years of coaching, I had an incredibly young team over at Northfield. We had just gone to the odd, and we graduated like 6 or 7. And I had a very young team. I had, I think, 3 freshmen on varsity, 2 or 3 sophomores. But anyways, my point was that team never, ever stopped working. And I think we won 2 or 3 games that year.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter.
No.
It didn't matter. And to watch that crew go from 3 wins to 9 wins to 12 wins to 16 wins.
Yeah.
But in that first year, to just watch them get get better every day in practice and every day in the games.
Yeah.
And just, I totally, when I read that quote from Coach Arnold, I'm like, yeah. And you're saying, this is my privilege to coach this group of young ladies, and they're working their butts off.
Yeah.
They really are. I'm going to give Spalding softball and baseball a shout out. I don't think we've touched much on Spalding softball. It was senior night for Spalding softball and Spalding baseball last night, and the Crimson Tide softball team came away with a 19-5 win over Harwood to improve to 3-7. Camille Marino, complete game, only giving up 3 hits, 0 earned runs.
Solid. And
striking out 7. And a big shout out to Savannah Spencer, who it sounds like she was a gold glove in the left field. Nice. One catch in particular was a highlight reel, but 2 for 3, 4 RBIs and 2 stolen bases for the senior. Camille Marino and Savannah Spencer, both seniors on senior night. So a huge shout out to those 2 and to the Crimson Tide Spalding softball team. On the flip side, if you just took about 5 steps from the softball field, you'd be at the baseball diamond. A 7-0 win for the Crimson Tide boys baseball team to improve to 6-6 at the 500 mark. Senior Michael Nuri, complete game, 8 strikeouts, 2 hitter.
Solid.
Huge.
Solid.
So a big shout out to some Crimson Tide teams, and again another big shout out to Addie and the Otter Valley Otters as they jockey for position. So that takes care of it for my shout outs there, my friend. We're not going to talk NFL, but I will hit quickly on, we're at our Final Four for the NBA and the NHL.
Yes.
We talked last week about the Knicks had to win.
Yep. And they took care of business.
They took care of business. So I ask you this.
Yep.
I knew, but I needed a refresher. The history of the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks is sick.
Yeah.
the Reggie Millers, the Patrick Ewings, even Larry Johnson hitting some big shots.
Yep.
Spike Lee, who's always going to be in his same seat. The Pacers have had a little bit more luck in the past.
Yeah.
Who do you got?
I have the Pacers.
You do?
Yeah. I just love the way that they play as a team.
Yeah?
And
I'll write that one down.
Yep. Yeah, I just love the way that they
How many
play
games?
together. I think it'll go 6.
You think it'll go 6?
Yeah.
I have the Knicks in 7.
Oh, nice.
So I will go with the Knicks, and this just being their year. And I will go with the Knicks to face the Oklahoma City Thunder,
Yeah.
who I got to tell you, I think they could sweep Minnesota. I'm going to give Minnesota a shot to win a game, so I'm going to go 4-1 in that.
Yeah.
I thought if they were going to steal a game, Minnesota, it was going to be last night because, I mean, the Thunder had that grind out series with the Nuggets.
Yeah, they were going. Yeah.
They were toast.
Right.
And when you watch the first half, Oklahoma City looked toast.
Yeah.
But I think that's what happens when you have a young team. They're just like, well, we'll just glide through, feel our way through this first half. And then they took care of business.
The officiating was friggin' horrendous. It was so bad.
I wondered if you were going to go there.
It was
and you are.
so bad. There were so many flops. I was like, yo.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander makes a living at
And
that.
he just
And he gets it.
Wasn't he just named MVP?
I don't know if he was today, but he will be named the MVP. There's no doubt.
I think he did. I think he was
might have been-
officially.
And Jokic is the only thing closest, but he will be.
Yeah,
Was he
Shea.
is official today?
Yeah.
We'll give him a little ding ding.
But
he deserves it.
But oh
yeah.
my gosh, guys! Like you can it should just be bloopers of him just flopping everywhere. It's like the faces that he makes, and literally, if you pause it and take like a picture, no one's touching him.
But I will say this: he's a hell of a player.
He gives men's soccer players a run for their money.
And this is why your dad and I don't watch a lot of the NBA.
Yeah. No, my dad does not like. He doesn't like men's basketball. He thinks
No,
that
he
they
does not.
He thinks they showboat too much.
Yep, he does. Big fan of the W, though.
Yes, he is.
He's like, we'll watch the Yankees. Charlotte will watch this on her laptop, and he's so funny. So you got Pacers moving on. I got Knicks moving on. Do we both got the Thunder?
Yeah.
And the Wolves have had a hell of a run. And
Yeah.
I'm not giving up on them. I'm not saying they're toast, but that Oklahoma team, I just, again, reiterating the fact they built a lot through the draft.
Yep.
And I'm just impressed with that. On the flip side of things, because you know how much I love my hockey, Dallas and Edmonton, that is a rematch of last year's Western Conference final. I am going to pick Dallas to win it this year, not Edmonton, in 6 games.
Okay.
And it's all because I don't want a rematch. The Stanley Cup last year was Edmonton and Florida. In the East, of course, it's the Carolina Hurricane and the Florida Panthers. And if we were doing the show yesterday, I would say the Hurricanes in 7.
Yep.
But after watching them and knowing their history against Florida,
Yep.
I'm going to pick the Panthers in 5.
Oh, jeez.
Freaking.
Oh, jeez.
And here's the thing. The Panthers are the Stanley Cup champs for a reason. You got to put your big boy pants and skates on and realize it's going to be a physical game. It's hockey anyways.
It's physical, yeah.
And Toronto did that in the previous series for 2 games.
Yeah.
And then they just were like, can't do this.
Yeah.
And I kept saying to Ashley Pelkey, Carolina and Florida would be fun.
Yeah.
And I hope it is going to be fun.
Yeah.
But if it's based on last night's 5-2 game, the Panthers just deer in the headlight look, and they don't have a lot of success. But you're one step from the Stanley freaking Cup.
Let's go. It's right
Let's
now.
go.
You have nothing to you. Come on.
Okay. And picking Dallas, it's just something about Dallas. But if you do end up watching a hockey game, watch Dallas and Edmonton at Dallas.
Okay.
Because those Dallas fans are
crazy
for their hockey.
I have been trying to watch some hockey games. I have.
At Dallas, and Edmonton's crazy about their Oilers, but Dallas is crazy about their team.
Really?
And is it because the Cowboys suck?
I mean, they have to root for someone.
I mean, the Dallas Stars, the first time I watched Dallas play, I don't remember which series it was, because it wasn't this one. I'm looking in the stands and I'm like, this is a sellout. These people are crazy. All you see is green, towels waving. And I'm like, they really like their hockey in Dallas, not in the state of Dallas, in the state of Texas, but in Dallas. But I'm like, maybe it's because their football team stresses them out.
Just depresses them.
I mean, they got the Rangers that won the World Series at least.
Yeah.
But I just think they're stressed out by the Cowboys so much. They love their hockey.
Who wouldn't be?
I'm going to pick the Dallas Stars to win the Stanley Cup.
Fun.
Too. I really am.
Fun.
And that's because I don't want to go back to back and give it to the Panthers.
And it's really hard to go back to back.
It really is. It seriously is. Do we go? Well, let's talk a little bit of college softball before we move on to the W and a little bit of the NFL as well. Did you watch any of the college regionals?
I did.
Do you remember what game? Because if I look through the regionals, there was so many there that I just went, well, that was easy. That was easy.
Yeah.
There was, I'm going to give two that, well, I'm going to give one. And it was Liberty and Texas A&M.
Yeah.
That was just insane. So first of all, Liberty beat, and Texas A&M is the number one ranked team nationally.
Yeah.
Going into regionals, super regionals, and the College World Series. So it's the first time a number one national seed was eliminated in regionals since the seedings began in 2005.
Damn.
So that's when the seedings began. This is the first time a number one seed did not get out of regionals.
Damn. That's
freaking
wild.
regionals.
That's wild.
I was, when I saw the score of Liberty 8, Texas A&M, I think it was 5. And then Texas A&M comes back and wins 14-11.
Yep.
When Liberty was up 6-0.
Yep.
And as soon as Texas A&M took the lead in that game, at 7-6 off a solar homer, I'm like, game's done.
Done. Yeah.
And I don't know what I went and did, but I left the house, got back and saw the score of 14-11. I think it went 8 innings, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's insane.
Yep.
Now they have to play a game 3 because Texas A&M had to beat them twice.
Yep.
That game was insane because I said, this isn't going to be close.
No.
Because Texas A&M's like, we had to win that second game.
Yeah.
And we got this.
Yeah.
And that's what it looked like for 5 innings.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, Texas A&M's
Yep.
got this. A solo homer by Liberty. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Another run, making it, I think, 4-2 at that point. And I'm like, okay. And then Liberty takes the lead.
Yep.
And then Texas A&M comes back. But Liberty ends up pulling that game out 6-5.
Yes.
And that's got to be one of the most,
The biggest.
it's got to be one of the biggest in regional history.
Yep.
I'm not taking anything away from Liberty.
No.
Because we got to remember that Dot Richardson is the coach there. And Dot Richardson, who was it in the softball world when I was younger. Obviously, I'm older than her, though, so I can't say younger. I'm not younger than Dot Richardson by any means. But she was it in softball. And softball wasn't as popular
Yeah.
in the 80s like it is now.
Yeah.
She played for Western Illinois and then UCLA, graduated from UCLA in 1983. And Dr. Dot Richardson is just a dog.
Yep.
She is a dog. And I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen in super regionals.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
No.
But I don't want to play Liberty.
No,
I
especially.
freaking don't want to play Liberty. Insane softball.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane softball.
And now they're like, yeah, let's go. We deserve to be here.
That's exactly it.
Yep.
I think the other one that I watched was at Duke over LSU.
Yeah, you texted about that.
And that was a hell of a game as well. Also, I think it was Arkansas, because Arkansas beat Oklahoma State twice. So that was, I'm trying to think, because I look at these and I go, Oklahoma, it was easy for them.
Yeah.
Florida, easy for you. Arkansas, they had to fight a little bit. Florida State, easy for you. Texas, easy peasy for you guys. Tennessee, easy for you. South Carolina, this basketball school is having a hell of a year. Pretty easy in their region. UCLA, pretty easy for you guys as well. It was the Baton Rouge region where Southeast Louisiana beat LSU.
Damn.
And then they had to play them again, and they beat, because LSU had beat UConn. It eliminated UConn. So then LSU draws Southeast Louisiana again, who ends up knocking LSU out of the Baton Rouge Regional.
Shit.
That was insane. I don't know why I was thinking Duke. That was insane. That was great softball.
Oh, wow.
It was great softball. The unfortunate thing for Southeast Louisiana is they had to play Nebraska on Sunday, and Nebraska won 8-0 in that region. But very impressed with that program.
Nice.
They were a lot of fun to watch. And to beat LSU on their field, that's pretty impressive. Clemson had an easy go of it as well. Texas Tech with Najee Kennedy had an easy go of it. The other region, and I swear I stayed up way too late. No, I got 2 more regions that were pretty. And if Jen, you're listening, that Tucson region where I had Arizona going on easily. So Ole Miss beats Arizona on Saturday 10-8, and Arizona is the 13th ranked team in the nation. So Ole Miss beats them 10-8. Arizona then knocks Grand Canyon out, has to play Ole Miss on Sunday, beats them 13-1.
Damn.
So you're the underdog, Ole Miss, not Arizona, Ole Miss. You're the underdog. You beat them on Saturday. You got your tail handed to you on Sunday. So what do you think about that rubber game going in?
Who knows?
Ole Miss is licking their wounds, and Arizona's going to just trounce them. Ole Miss wins 7-3 to advance to the Super Regionals, knocking out a 13th seed Arizona team that was kind of my underdog team. No more. Georgia and Duke, that was the series that had me on the edge as well. Georgia had beat number 14 Duke 8-2 on Saturday. And then Duke beat Coastal Carolina. So then we fast forward to Sunday, where Duke beats Georgia 8-1. Again, beats them easily. And again, Duke's ranked 14th. Georgia's not ranked in the top 25. Rubber game, Georgia knocks Duke out with a 5-2 win. So there goes another top 20 team. And the other one, I have to give Oregon credit because Stanford had beat them up on Saturday. And Oregon beat up Stanford 15-5, forcing the rubber game that Oregon Ducks came away with a 10-7 win. So, I love softball. Love this time of year.
Jen said Arizona versus Ole Miss games were crazy as well.
Crazy. That and the Liberty game that I literally stayed up till midnight Sunday night to watch. And I almost text Jen, but I'm like, she's either watching or she's taped in and is going to watch this on Monday. So I'm actually not going to tell her who won.
No spoilers.
So I asked you this, Jen. Super Regionals, okay? Liberty is going to play number 16 Oregon. Who wins that game?
What are the odds? Can you bet on this?
I am going with Liberty in that game. And all I can give you is these, the first round of games. Here's one that intrigues me to no end. Number 8 South Carolina versus number 9 UCLA.
Oh, that's good. Ooh.
And again, UCLA is a powerhouse in softball.
Jen says Liberty.
She's picking Liberty as well. Me too, my friend. One more, Jen, for you. Number 5 Florida State, right here, versus number 12 Texas Tech, Najee Kennedy. I'm going to go, and I hate doing this because I usually cheer for Florida State. I'm going to go with Texas Tech. And then you got Arkansas facing off against Ole Miss.
UCLA.
What's that?
She says UCLA.
I picked UCLA as well. Number 3, Florida will face Georgia. Number 6, Texas will face number 11, Clemson. Number 7, Tennessee will take on Nebraska. And this has got to be the one. This has got to be the one. And Jen Estival, you got to pick this one for me. Number 2, Oklahoma against number 15, Alabama Crimson Tide. Those are going to be some good opening round games right there.
Jen says, I want Florida State, but I think it will be TT.
I think it will be Texas Tech as well. So as I said, Florida State is going to get upset by Texas Tech.
Florida State is, it's favored.
and Florida State's they always are a powerhouse in softball, always. One of my super sleeper teams is going to be one of these two teams. It's either going to be Clemson or South Carolina. And I don't like either team's first round matchup because Clemson's going to play Texas.
Yep.
And South Carolina has UCLA. But if I was going to pick a little bit of a Cinderella team to move on, I don't know why I'm going with Clemson. And I'm talking out of the top 5.
Yeah.
Teams that are out of the top 5. But Super Regionals starting Thursday through Sunday. Yep. I cannot wait. So with that being said, we will move on to the W.
Oh, Jen says Oklahoma only because Alabama won the series during series, so revenge match.
But see, Jen, that's why I'm like, Alabama's got a good chance.
Yeah.
Because they're in Oklahoma's head. They're in their head. But anyways, that's up. We'll move on from that. Great softball, and if you're not a fan, just tune into one of those games.
Yep.
You will find yourself being sucked in. One more shout out I didn't give that just popped into my head is Scotty Scheffler winning the PGA Championship.
Yep.
And dominating on Sunday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dominating on the weekend, but it wasn't even in question.
Nope.
Come Sunday. We're going to move on to the W now because we've already gone through 3 quarters, CB, and we got a lot to talk about. Before we start talking about some major injuries that are at the forefront.
I was so sad.
And some of the games that we watched and enjoyed. Is there anything you want to say about what your favorite game was? I titled the show Flagrant 1.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say about?
We talked a little bit about this, but watching the Washington Mystics has been so fun. Both of their games have been so fun.
So fun.
Citron is man, she's killing it.
My Rookie of the Year pick.
She's killing it.
She is killing it.
And Kiki has been playing very, very well too. They said during the game, it's because their coach makes it so they're not afraid to make mistakes, which is so huge.
Love hearing that.
So huge for rookies where they're just out there, they're trying their best, they have nothing to worry about, right? So just watching the Washington Mystics has been so fun, and we talked about it. They're not even at full staff,
right?
So once they get when they get Aaliyah Edwards back,
Aaliyah Edwards is even playing.
Aaliyah Edwards and friggin' Kiki,
they're making some noise with 2 rookies right now. I mean, there's more on that team, but. Yeah. They're making some noise. Wait till Aaliyah Edwards comes back.
It's going to be so fun.
And I hope the back issue doesn't linger.
Yeah.
And I hope it's just take the time you need to heal her now.
Yeah.
Because you need her for the long run.
Yep. I'm worried about the Aces.
Me too.
Because
we have been though. We have been.
The fact that you have to have Asia Wilson play in a game that you're blowing out 30 points because you don't have other post players.
Yep.
That's so bad.
And what happens if an injury happens?
That's so
at that point.
If you have Asia Wilson get injured in a game that you're blowing out just because you have no one else,
right?
You're doing something wrong.
I know that Jewel Lloyd played better in game 2.
Yep.
But Liberty Sun, no disrespect to the Sun, but that's a rebuilding team.
Yep.
Liberty.
Yeah.
I mean, she was
kind
of non-existent.
Absent, yeah.
I don't know. I said I was worried about that team, and I still am. Tell me the story again about Coach White and Caitlin Clark.
So Caitlin plays with a lot of passion.
A lot of passion.
She's
Absolutely.
super competitive. They made jokes about how many technicals she's going to get. If you want to see a really, really funny clip, watch the after their Chicago game where Aaliyah Boston realizes that she was actually the one who got teched.
Got a technical.
She's like, AB got the tech.
She's like,
AB got the tech. What? It's the
she's
funniest.
A riot anyway.
It's the funniest reaction. So she played, and her body language is abysmal.
It really is.
It really is. And we've talked about that during
And we would say this if Wheels was here.
Yeah. We did, and we've talked about this and Wheels would agree with us. We talked about this during March Madness last year about how her body language is it's just really poor. And so during I think it was the Chicago game, they talked about how Stephanie White kind of had played back video footage to Caitlin and showed her what her body language is saying to her teammates, and to not let her body language discourage or make your teammates feel worse.
Right.
That they weren't there.
Right.
And so I think it was one where like Howard didn't position right for the play that they were calling, and Caitlin got like a little frustrated. And so that's when it was like all brought up.
Yep.
And it's just like, how you have, out of 11 players, 7 of them are new to the team.
Yep. Yep.
So it's just like, you're gonna have those growing pains. You'll be fine.
I just want to say to her, stop throwing your arms up in the air. Stop doing this.
Yep.
Stop doing this.
Yep.
Because every time she does that, it makes me want to stop watching the game.
Yep.
And I should not, as a big-time sports fan, especially basketball, especially the W, not want to watch Caitlin Clark play.
Right.
And as I'm saying, stop throwing your arms up in the air, I watched Dallas. Who did Dallas play in their second game? I watched Dallas play Phoenix. Nope, did they play them in their first game?
No. Oh shit. Who was it?
And they lost.
They lost.
Yeah, it was a good game.
Was it?
It wasn't.
Was it the Mystics? Did they lose? No.
It was Seattle.
Oh yes,
It
Seattle.
was Seattle.
Yes, Seattle.
So it was Seattle and Dallas, and I couldn't wait to watch it.
What'd you think of that game?
I love how Paige Beckers carries herself, number one.
Oh, Paige Beckers is playing amazing.
And she's so much fun to watch, and she goes about her business.
I think she was the fastest to 15-5-5.
There's no hand weight. There's no what?
Yeah.
What? There's nothing.
She got like...
She just plays the game.
Yeah, she got her face smashed in by like a pick, and she just kept playing.
Agumba Wale drove me nuts. Drove me nuts.
She is going to shoot them out of game. Like, she was 2 for 19.
I was gonna just throw that stat out. Thank you for doing that.
It was like they were down by 1 or they were like, it was very close. It was towards the end of the game. They have a breakaway. She's going down. She's got Paige Beckers right next to her, and she goes for the contested layup and bricks it.
I saw that too.
And bricks it.
Yep.
And then she goes for the transition 3.
Yep.
And I'm like, Enrique, what the fuck? You could.
Just one. That's only one.
But listen, and I think.
Listen.
There's like, and I get it. Like I don't know.
She's the superstar on the team.
Yeah,
but you got to understand, there's another one that's going to make your life easy.
Right, and
easy.
You have to trust Paige that if you give it to Paige and you move, Paige will get it back to you.
She'll give you the ball.
She will get it back to you. Right, and it's kind of like last year with Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark. Kelsey Mitchell, the beginning. Yeah. Well, in Kelsey's defense, she literally had no one on her, like barely no one on her team for all those years.
Exactly.
But she began to trust Caitlin. Giving it up to Caitlin will get her in a better position, and then Caitlin found her on the back cuts, right? Yep. And so Enrique has to trust Paige.
She does.
But also, and
we're early.
But even outside of that, Enrique's movement off ball pisses me off. She will bring her defender to an open spot where one of her teammates is open, and then she'll bring her defender over there. And I'm like, what are you doing?
She's one of the superstars in this league. She's got to understand. She's got to be tired of losing. That was a bad season last season, hence why you got Paige Beckers. Yeah. And your backcourt mate is going to make your life so much easier.
Right.
Open your eyes and stop chucking the ball and the shooting.
Yeah.
I kept looking at the box score as I'm watching the game. I'm like, 1 for 12. Right. Yeah, 2 for 14. I'm like, stop shooting, and you're going to win this game.
Exactly.
Yeah, very frustrating.
You give Paige one of those passes, you give Paige one of those shots, and you win the game. Yep. You win the game. Yep. And it's just like, I get it. When Enrique is hot, no one can stop her.
Sure.
No one can stop her because she does have good ball handling skills. She is good on that one-on-one.
Yep.
But
you're going to have nights, though.
But when you're not.
Yep. And there was one time she missed a shot, and she dogged it back down the court. And I'm like, And again,
Yeah.
you're a first-year coach, get her out.
Yeah.
You got to set the tone.
Yes,
you have
absolutely.
to. Like I said, when Mike Vrabel walks in the building, you got to
Yep.
set the tone now.
Yep.
Because she's not going to go back and play defense.
Yeah. And honestly,
on now.
honestly, if I'm Dallas, I'm just trying to get through this year with Enrique and then don't re-sign her.
Right.
I would not
Right.
re-sign her.
That's Paige Becker's team now.
Exactly. Build around
Goes about
Paige.
her business.
It's just like Indiana. Indiana built around Cece. You have to build around
Yep.
Paige.
Yep.
You have to
Exactly.
build around her.
That was a great game too.
Yeah.
But what was the best game? Was it the Atlanta-Indiana game?
Last night's?
Yeah, 91-90.
Yeah.
Did anybody play defense in that game?
It looked really. Listen, it was fun because I like Atlanta a lot, just because I love Alicia Gray.
I love Alicia
I like
Gray,
Ryan
too.
Howard.
Yeah.
And
I love Ryan Howard and how she's
friggin-
gotten better each year. Love it.
the bigs though.
So here's my thing.
The bigs 8, and then freaking Ryan Howard. When you have Ryan Howard and Alicia Gray and they're hitting the threes, I think Ryan Howard started the second half with 3 threes, and they were all like swishers because they were over helping on the post, and then they were just open all night.
And again, every week we're going to change. It's
Yeah.
going to be a different chime from us.
Yeah.
But right out of the shoot, I didn't think that Brianna Jones and Brittany Griner could coexist.
No.
I didn't.
Yep.
I didn't. And maybe they will, maybe they won't.
Yeah.
But in that win over the Fever, they combined for 40 points and 21 rebounds,
Yep.
which is what you want from your bigs.
Yep.
And then the other impressive thing for me was they combined to go 12 for 16 from the foul line.
Yep.
Which, come on.
Yeah.
Bigs usually aren't good shooters. Alicia Gray, 16 points.
Yep.
6 assists in the backcourt.
Yeah.
Ryan Howard. And maybe that's a team that I've overlooked in the preseason.
Yeah.
They have the makeup of a very good team. Brianna Turner, Dawana Bonner, and Sydney Colson on the flip side were combined 9 points, 4 for 15.
Yep.
And here's the quote from Coach White after the game. We still got to figure out how to get all 5 players on the floor on the same page on both ends of the floor.
Yes.
We're pretty disjointed.
Yes.
Sometimes offensively,
Yep.
just as much as we seem to keep being defensively,
Yep.
because that's their Achilles heel.
Yes.
Is their defense.
The thing the challenge when it comes to Stephanie White coaching this team is, yes, your big 3 are very, very comfortable playing together. If you want to be successful, though, you have to figure out how Dawana Bonner and Natasha Howard fits into that. The first
exactly.
game, the first
Well
game,
said.
the first game, because you need them to win.
Yeah.
And the first game, Natasha Howard actually was playing really well off of
Yes.
Cece. But
Struggled last night.
But struggled last night.
Yep.
She's struggling at the foul line.
Yep.
But for me, at this point, I think you should be starting Lexi Hull and having Dawana Bonner come off the bench, because I just think
Not agree with you more.
because Lexi Hull's going to absolutely exhaust them
Yep.
with her engine, and then you have Dawana Bonner coming in, and
I
you're
would
like,
totally-
really?
Totally have Bonner as the 6th man.
Exactly.
Totally.
Yes.
And that's a key cog on
she's
every team.
Your perfect 6th man, because she can play
Yep.
the 3, she can play the 4. She's good at ball
Yep.
handling. She's great defensively. She's
Yep.
long. Have her
Could
be
you
your
call
6th.
Coach White up and tell her that for me?
I think
or
Coach.
for the
I think Coach
podcast?
White knows.
I
I
mean,
trust.
You just said it perfectly,
Yeah.
CB. I'm like, Bonner, 6th man,
Yep.
solid.
Yep.
That could be the
Because
key. And again, we're early,
Yeah.
but
Lexi Hull just
love Lexi Hull's game.
I love her defense. I love that even at she's 6 foot tall, she's 6 foot, she's got to be like 6 foot maybe. And she gets those offensive rebounds coming out of nowhere. She's just going for the
Right.
rebounds. And then she's got a good shot.
Yes.
And
Oh, yeah, she does. This is a great shot.
And she moves off the ball. She actually moves off the ball.
Right.
Smartly.
Right.
She moves off the ball
She
and
gets
then,
open, finds her alleys. Yeah.
And
finds those
it's
little
beautiful,
openings.
And it's beautiful. So I don't know. It's
And I
been
will
fun.
say this, watching Indiana in their first game,
Yeah.
the announcers were saying it, and I was working out at the time, so I was kind of saying it out loud
Yeah.
too. They had to improve on defense. They
Yes.
had no choice because their defense was that stagnant and,
Yeah.
bad last year.
Yeah.
And I think it was between the first and second, they were into the second quarter, but they made some good comments about how you could already tell, even though it was game one.
Yeah.
So I started watching Caitlin Clark, and she started denying one pass away. There was a backdoor cut by who she was guarding, and she defended it flawless, perfectly.
Yep.
And in that same sequence, the ball movement was really good, and it looked like it was going to be a layup on the weak side block, and Aaliyah Boston went from the foul line down, which was footwork and speed, because she looks in better condition, better shape this year. Had
absolutely.
a block at the rim.
Yep.
Possession stayed, and then it was a shot clock violation.
Yep.
So I'm watching Indiana's defense vastly improve.
Yeah.
And I'm going, yep, they had to. And Coach White is a defensive coach as well.
Yep.
So it was impressive, but then to see them give up 91 points the next
And we
night,
didn't even talk about Aaliyah Boston.
right?
Holy shit.
Love her game.
Oh my gosh.
Love her game.
So
her and Ryan Howard,
smart.
how they've gotten better with each year. Love their game.
Just so smart, so intelligent. And then there was a couple times last night where she took the ball up. No one was coming out of her, so she just went straight down the court and hit layups.
Did you see, I don't know what game it was. Was it last night's game? Where Holly Rose interviewing her at halftime?
Yes.
And it was new
the first
as they're
game.
walking.
Yep.
And I'm like, Holly Rose is just so
Everywhere.
impressive.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, now we're walking. You're walking her all the way to the locker room, still firing 4, 5, 6 questions at her. And I just like what I've seen from Aaliyah Boston. And Lexi Hall, I'm glad you said that, because in my notes I had, Lexi Hall, you are a dog.
Yep.
Natasha Howard will be key because of her championship experience.
Yep.
Yes, we are all going to have good nights and bad nights. I think if Wheels was sitting here, she probably would have been mad at Howard because of last night's game.
The foul shots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so then going back, because we're jumping all around here, but going back to the Liberty and the
Liberty
Aces game.
Yep.
As I watched bits and pieces, I was watching the interview with Natasha Cloud after that game, and we talked about this before we went on the air. First of all, I can't freaking believe Natasha Cloud's on the Liberty.
Right, because
mind blowing.
she was on. So she was on Phoenix,
Went to Connecticut.
and I was like, oh, don't do Natasha that dirty. Don't do Natasha that dirty, because she was. Everyone loved her in Phoenix.
And who loved her in Phoenix?
Who wouldn't love her in Phoenix? And then she got traded from Connecticut to the Liberty, and I was happy that she's in a better
way
team.
to do well by her, because she deserves
She
it.
deserves it. But on the other hand, I'm like, son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
Liberty have another great player, and it's huge because they don't have Lane Hamilton this year.
Right.
And I feel like they're kind of
Her stat line in that game against the Aces was 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists.
Damn.
And I'm like, you freaking dog.
Yeah.
So as I'm saying, you freaking dog, because she's a dog.
Yeah.
And I thought about Lexi Hall too. I'm like, you're such a dog.
Yeah.
I put down my all dog team.
Yep.
And the other game I watched was the LA Sparks first game.
Yes.
Do you want to speak of dogs? Kelsey Plum.
For the Valkyries. They played the Valkyries, right?
Pops in 37.
Yo.
Leader. She looks like she's been with that team for years because they are smart and looking to her for leadership.
Yep.
And that's what she's going to give that young team. Yep. Derricka Hamby, the most underrated player in the game, because nobody talks about her.
Nope.
So heading up my all-dog team, you're going to love this, CB. I want you tell me if you disagree with any of them. Kelsey Plum.
Yep. Solid.
Natasha Cloud.
Yeah.
Okay. Asia Wilson.
Obviously.
You ready for this one? But I'm sorry, I would never want to play against her, and I want her on my team. Skylar Diggins.
Yo, I was when you were talking about that, I was like, yo, honestly, she annoys me sometimes, but Skylar Diggins is an absolute dog. And when I watch, I didn't really like her because of just all of the complaining.
We don't cheer for her.
No, but then I watched her on Unrivaled, and I was like, oh, damn, you're an app. So yes, I 100%. Right? I actually was thinking about her. I was wondering if you were going to say her.
I was watching her the other night, and I'm like, would I ever want to be coaching against her? No. Would I ever want to be guarding her? No.
Also,
you know what? I want her on my team.
Yep, I want her arms too. I just want her arms. Her arms are just like for.
What do you think her body fat is? We'll just talk the arms. Is there any percentage?
8%.
Maybe.
And for a woman, that's like. I want her arms.
I mean, look at that backcourt: Plum, Cloud, and Diggins.
Got no shot.
I'm like, I love that. And Asia Wilson is a dog.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Who was your other?
I got NECA Awumake.
Oh, NECA. I love NECA's
dog.
Dirt. Like, and she's getting older, but her versatility.
Yep.
Is just I love NECA.
So rounding out my bench though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you my bench as well. Lexi Hall, because I already called her a dog. So that one. Ryan Howard and Angel Reese.
Yes. 100%.
And anybody want to tell me who would be on their dog team? Go for it.
Yep.
But I really like my all dog team. And I didn't have Skylar Diggins on it as I started to just put it in my notes.
Yep.
And then I'm watching her and I'm going, oh, yeah.
Yes, 100%.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. No one.
And I know numerous people are going to say, oh, I don't like Skylar Diggins. I'm not saying you have to like her.
No. But
I'm just saying, do you want her on your team?
She gives 110% every single time.
We talked about injuries early in the show. There's some big injuries. We talked about Leah Edwards.
Oh, Ray Burrell.
I was Kalia Copper.
Sad. Yep. Karen said Chelsea Gray.
Anisha Morrow out with a knee injury for Connecticut. That's a rebuild team, but her and Rivers are going to be fun to watch as that season goes along.
Yep.
They really are.
I was happy because the first game she didn't really get a lot of minutes. So I was happy to see her get more minutes.
Yep.
And she's fun.
Yeah, she's fun. She's a lot of fun. And I know you talked about Seattle being one of those teams this year.
I'm about to go find, who's their coach's name? I can't think of her name.
Oh, yes. Seattle's? Can't think of her name, but I loved her.
But she only played Malanga.
Oh, you're mad at her.
I'm pissed because
Go ahead.
In the minute and 37 seconds that Malanga was out there,
gotcha.
She had a rebound. She had a rebound, a block, and 2 points.
So you're saying the reins are being pulled back too much?
Yeah, let her.
And the coach is going little by little, baby steps.
Develop your young.
And you're saying
player.
F the baby steps, get her out there more.
Develop her.
I'm not arguing.
Like, because Lee was getting absolutely destroyed. She did not have a great night. Lee Giroux.
Right.
And she's like, I get it. She's what, like 6'7", 6'9". She's 6'7", I think. Because, anyways, she was having a rough night. So I'm like, yo, throw out Malanga. Like she has such a high. Like you just have to develop her though.
And do you watch her teammates? So like at halftime, they keep going up and talking to her, like just keeping her even keeled, you're okay. And I'm like, she landed in a good spot.
Yes.
You spoke highly of Seattle. I like Phoenix.
Yep. Oh yeah, Phoenix.
And this is without Copper.
So
what's going to happen?
Think about Phoenix
because Copper had arthroscopic, so it's going to be about 4 to 6 weeks.
Yep.
Imagine if she was playing right now,
out
of the chute.
Yo, I love Copper. She's another dog.
I got to give a shout out to a rookie from Phoenix.
Yep.
Catherine Westbeld.
Yes.
9 points, 5 rebounds,
Yep.
2 3-pointers in 22 minutes. And I'm like, Westbeld is another one of those players like Citron.
Yep.
Because when you watched Notre Dame, you're always watching Hidalgo and you're watching Olivia Miles.
Yep.
I mean, those two players are dogs. Those two players are good players. And Sabali, 27 points.
Yeah. She went
6
off.
rebounds.
She went off.
2 block shots, 3 threes.
Yep.
Oh, Satu, that's going to be a good team. And I'm not even talking about Alyssa Thomas.
Yeah, I completely forgot about, I'm going to be honest, with all the trades, I completely forgot about Phoenix. You know, on another note, going back to Dallas, they need to have Seagrass play more.
I agree.
Because
one of my favorites.
She plays perfectly off of Paige.
Yep.
She plays perfectly off of Paige.
There is a connection right out of the chute with those two.
Exactly.
There literally is, and you can watch their body language. Yes. They're constantly high-fiving one another. Right. And, another thing I noticed in that game. So at halftime, Agumbawali just literally flies into the locker room.
Yeah.
Like literally off the court.
Yeah.
And I'm watching Paige.
Yeah.
Every teammate.
Yeah.
High five, high five, high five, high five. And I'm like, shame on you.
Yep.
You just bolted into the locker room
Yep.
because it's woe is me because you're having a bad shooting night.
Yep.
What the F?
I remember like an interview last year with Enrique, and they had lost. It was a close game. I think it was the game versus Indiana, because all of Indiana and Dallas's game where there was no defense and it was all just shooting.
Right.
And I think Dallas had lost, and Enrique. It was basically Enrique's like, oh well, I got mine. She got her. So basically saying like she got her stats that she wanted, even if they didn't win. And I was like, dude.
Dude.
This is a team sport.
Yeah.
You're gonna go nowhere. You haven't gone.
Yeah.
You haven't won anything.
Exactly.
And Enrique's played with great players.
Yep.
It's not like it's a Kelsey Mitchell who hasn't had a lot of great stars around her.
Right.
Enrique's played with good players.
Yeah.
So you can't even use that as an excuse.
Yeah.
She's just
the way she bolted, and the whole rest of the team, she went to the right to the locker room. The rest of the team went to the left.
Yeah.
Be it to get their water bottles, a lot of high-fiving, and I'm like, shame on you. You're the only one in the locker room right now. Shame on you. As we go into overtime, I'm going to give you a couple of quotes.
Love it.
Basketball play, refs got it right, move on.
Yep.
Angel Reese.
Yep.
It's just a good take foul. Either Angel gets a wide open 2 points, or we send her to the free throw line. Nothing malicious about it. Every basketball player knows that. Caitlin Clark's side of it. What did you think about that? Let's end the show with overtime being. What do we think of the flagrant one and the two technicals?
Yep. NECA's sister, who does the commentating, what's her name? Names are completely escaping me.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
NECA's
but
sister. So she was on, I forgot.
It was like us
First
not
Take?
getting Max Fried last week.
Yes.
We get blank. We draw blank.
Chiney.
Yes.
So.
Good one. I wouldn't have got that.
Because I follow her. Yeah. So she was on a podcast or a show or something, and she pointed out that this happens on all of the W games. Yep. When there was like Chelsea Gray was getting in it with the big on Liberty. She won the MVP. I can't do names.
Jonquel Jones.
Jonquel. Yeah. So Chelsea Gray was getting in on it with JJ. There was Marina was going after. Who did Marina go after? Was it? I don't know. Marina always goes after someone.
I was just going to say.
But like, it just happens in all of the games. There's technicals, there's flagrants.
Right.
Like, it just happens, but because it's these two players.
Right. And it goes back to college. I mean, we all know. I think it goes back to high school. If I dug, I'm pretty sure one or both of them made a quote about high school as well. Rebecca Lobo said they called it right.
Yeah.
It was a flagrant one.
Yeah.
The foul was a hard foul. And if you're going to foul them that close on those high percentage little pot shots, you foul them hard.
Yeah.
There was a little push. There was a little stare down by Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
The thing that I thought was comical is I don't think anyone saw the stare because Angel Reese had fallen to the floor. Yeah. And Caitlin Clark just kind of gave her a look. Yeah. But as soon as Angel Reese started to get up, where did Caitlin Clark go?
She fucking went.
She went.
Yeah.
And then she's doing this, like, what? What? And I go, again, put your arms down.
Right.
Okay.
Karen said, good foul, CC reaction is what gets me. Yeah, they mean
that's it.
And and again, also, right before the CC flagrant, Angel Reese did push Natasha Howard down.
Right. Yep.
And then if I'm CC and you just push my teammate down and you're wide open right now, I'm going in for a foul.
Yep.
Like, the W has always been a physical game.
Yep.
It's always been a physical style. It's what people miss about the NBA, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
there's none of that.
It's just them it's clickbait. It's just them wanting to make a big
clickbait,
deal.
I like that. I like that.
Just getting more media attention.
The only thing I will say from that is, we're always going to watch when the Sky and the Fever play because of those two. They built this rivalry in college. Maybe it was high school. We all know where we were, because I can remember when they played. Was it the finals? Or was it the Final Four? When Angel Reese looked at Caitlin Clark and did this and the ring, and we were all like, Angel Reese, you pissed us off then.
Yeah.
But Angel Reese has backed it up.
Yeah.
Angel Reese has worked her butt off.
Yep.
You just said it by
Yep.
this, what Caitlin Clark and what Angel Reese have done in their
Yep.
first year. It's just off the charts amazing. I just don't want the arms flying up in the air
Yep.
anymore.
Yep.
Fine, give her the stare down. Absolutely. When Angel Reese gets up, stand your ground.
Yep.
You both are
Yeah.
badasses.
Yeah.
You both are.
Yep.
Angel Reese gets, it takes me back to, I was a Detroit Pistons fan, and it was because of Isaiah Thomas
Yep.
and Joe Dumars, who were class act.
Yep.
But Dennis Rodman and Billy Ambier were on that team.
Yeah.
And they were dogs. They were dirty dogs.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were called the bad boys just because of those two.
Yeah.
But they owned it.
Yeah.
Okay, Angel Reese has owned it.
Yes.
From the day one that she stepped into the national spotlight in
Absolutely.
college.
Absolutely.
She has owned it.
Yep.
And she's not going to back down. She knows it's great for the game. Look where the W is right now.
Right.
Caitlin, just own it. Stop throwing your arms up in the air.
Yep.
You could throw your arms up in the air because you were at Indiana.
Right.
I just want her, and I think her dad would appreciate it too if she'd stop throwing her arms up in the air. It's a great rivalry. Just own it.
Yeah.
Just own that you are one of the badasses of the game too, because you are.
Right.
You and Angel Reese are badasses.
Yes.
Just own it.
Yeah.
Stop throwing your arms up in the
Yeah.
air. Own it. You're a badass too.
Yeah.
You're very passionate about the game. So is she.
Yep.
It's going to be a rivalry for years to come.
Yeah.
Just freaking own it.
Yeah. And on
That's all I want to say.
Right. And on that point, like, and it's funny because when she does media, she does not miss a word. She
Right.
says
Right.
says everything correct to the T. They
Yep.
will ask her all the questions, trying to get her to say something
Yep.
that they can make a big story about it. And
Yep.
she always does what she needs to do in talking to the media.
Yep.
Do the same while you're playing basketball.
Do the same while you're playing. You're a once in a generation.
Yep.
And I think it stuck out for me so much because I am not getting down on Caitlin. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, dude, you're a dog, own
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And what you did, that flagrant one,
Be like Kelsey Plum.
yes.
She's cocky.
Yes.
She's cocky and she knows it.
I would tell her to watch some tape of Kelsey Plum
Yeah.
because if you look at Plum Dog, every time she gets fouled and she steps to the foul
Fucking
line,
smiling.
the corner
Yeah,
of her
that's
mouth
too-
is like the Joker.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about the shape of her mouth, but
Yeah.
she's like, I gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
She's like, you're giving me these 2 points? I'll take
yeah,
these 2 points.
and joke is on you, even though the corner looks like a Joker smile.
Exactly.
I'm like, you are such a dog.
Yeah.
So Caitlin, just own it.
Yeah.
You know, you were upset when they reviewed it and the flagrant one went on you.
Yeah.
You were like, what?
Yeah.
Own it.
Yeah.
You deserved it.
Exactly.
Rebecca Lobo chimed in quickly.
it was a good
That
it was
was
the
the
right
right
call.
call.
It was the right
And
call.
just own it.
Yeah.
You're a dog.
Yeah.
You're a dog just like Angel Reese. You should be on my all-dog team, and you will be by the end of the year.
Yeah.
But literally just own it.
Exactly.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
all I want. And I think why it stuck out more, and I was just saying this about 60 seconds ago, is then I watched Paige Beckers carry
Yes.
herself.
Yes.
And I went,
It's wild. It's wildly different.
wildly different.
Wildly different.
Wildly different to the point that,
And do you think it's because she had Gino as a coach?
you know, you wonder, right?
Gino,
I
because
like
Gino,
Coach
Gino
Bluter
would,
too, but I'm just like,
But
the
Gino
way she
would not.
carries herself.
Yeah.
You have no clue.
Yeah.
Her emotions are in check. You can still be passionate. You can still show your passion. You do it. But
Yeah.
I just watch her as a rookie and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Girl,
Yeah.
no clue what the score is if I'm watching Paige Beckers.
Right.
No clue.
And she's just there for, even being a rookie, she's there for her teammates, man.
Absolutely. And Agumba Wally, you're going to learn a lot from her.
Oh my gosh, just get rid of her.
As we wrap up an amazing 4 quarters with overtime with CB, and CB, you have had some amazing points tonight. Thank you so much. I have to give my quick NFL. I'm being good. You know, NFL's out of season, so
Yeah.
I'm trying to stay away. Was watching NFL Live the other day where
Oh, right.
they
Yeah.
were positive the tush push was going to be banned. Vote went out today. The tush push is back for the 2025 season. And I know a lot of that, the backing of that is the health
Yes.
issues, the
Yeah.
health side of it.
Yeah.
We talked about it last week.
Yeah.
The other thing they were going to vote on was the playoff seating.
Did that go through?
The Detroit Lions withdrew the proposal.
Well-
They don't think it would have gone through.
Okay.
Is the word on the street with NFL Live, but the Lions withdrew, which means it's kind of like an election where
Yeah.
you listen,
Yeah.
and you hear that no one's going to back it.
Yeah.
I thought it would be kind of interesting.
I think so too. I think they have a point.
So it was the proposal was withdrawn, and that never went to a vote. Push Tush is back, and I ask you this as I say these 5 names. CBS is calling these 5 coaches that are literally on the hot seat.
Yeah.
Like that hot seat is 150 degrees before the season even
Dable.
starts. So I will name 5-1 who CBS has it, and you tell me who you think is going to get fired first.
Oh, okay. First.
At number 5, Brian Callahan of the Titans. I don't think that's fair. He's only in his 2nd year.
Right.
And you're probably going to have a rookie starting.
And now you have a rookie starting.
So that one I didn't agree. Shane Steichen of the Colts.
Okay.
Brian Dable of the Giants. Zach Taylor of the Bengals.
Ooh.
And number 1, Mike Tomlin of the Steelers.
There's been a
And
lot
you don't
of...
have to tell me who is going to get fired. Who do you see of those 5 that literally the temperature is scorching hot?
Dable.
I'm going to go...
But Tomlin, but there's been a lot of stories
There's
about
been
Tomlin.
a lot of talk about Tomlin.
About how is his voice in Pittsburgh stale is
Yeah.
what I saw, like one headline. Who was number 2? Oh, Bengals.
I think he is.
I think if they have another
They have no
bad
defense, though,
start, if they have another 0-5 start, I think he's
He
gone.
could be the
I
one
think
that's
he's
gone in week 6 or 7.
I think so.
Yep, that's the one I think.
They historically start terribly.
Right.
But last year they just started even worse than they typically did, and if one game.
Yep.
When they lost to the Patriots.
Yeah, I think Taylor is on the hot seat.
Me too.
And if anyone's going to get fired in week 5 or 6,
It's gonna
if
be
they
him.
get off to the same start they got off
It's
to
gonna be
last
him.
year. Dable, I still think the Giants see it through to the end of the season because I think it's going to be interesting. If Russell Wilson struggles and they go to Jackson Dart, because I really think Dart should sit for 1 year. He should sit for 1 year.
Yeah, sit behind freaking Russell.
And you got Jameis Winston too.
Yeah.
If they turn to Dart and he struggles, that's Dable's pick at quarterback. Then I think Dable's out. I do think he makes it through the season, but it all hinges on Russell Wilson.
Maybe just because I friggin' want him gone. I want everyone in the Giants gone. I want their GM gone. I want their coach gone. Same thing for the Yankees. I want their GM gone. I want their coach gone.
And my last question to you, my all-dog team, who's the biggest dog on that team?
Oh, wow.
Hard to pick one, isn't it? It's so hard for me to choose between.
My gosh. Are we just going more the doggiest of the dog or by like player?
The doggiest of the dogs.
The doggiest of the
I mean,
dogs.
we opened our show talking about dogs. Yeah. I can't pick between Plum, Cloud, and Diggins.
Yo, me too. Me too.
No disrespect to the others that I had, the other 5. Because, Angel Reese would be so pissed at me for not picking her.
I think I have to go with Skylar Diggins, man. I just would not mess with Skylar Diggins.
I don't know.
But Kelsey Plum, man, with her cockiness.
And then I look at Natasha
Cloud.
Cloud's game and I go, I think I have to go with her.
Yeah.
But then I can see Plum.
She's also so freaking athletic.
And I can see Kelsey Plum's smirk.
Yep.
And then I go, well, how do you go against Diggins?
And even just the way Kelsey Plum runs down the court, man.
Right.
She's just so like.
Okay.
But like attitude-wise.
It's an even draw, right?
But attitude-wise, I would not, also Skylar Diggins is a mama.
Yeah.
You don't mess with mamas.
That's a valid point.
Yo, she's got that mama dog in her.
Okay, so one more scenario then.
Yeah.
And I'm going to base this on the one time I went to London.
Yeah.
And gosh, if you turn down the street you take a couple of wrong turns.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah.
I mean, me and my friend Michelle bolted so fast. I'm like, where are we and how did we get here that quickly? So you turn down you make a couple of wrong turns in the Bronx and you turn down the wrong alley. Who do you want walking next to you? Plum, Diggins, or Cloud? That's even hard for me to pick.
Yo,
I'm going to say Natasha Cloud, and I don't know why.
Where did they grow up? He's got the street smarts.
But I'm like, okay, well, I'll give CB, you're in the Bronx. I'm in London. I make that wrong turn 2 or 3 times, and I'm like, I hope Natasha Cloud is standing next to me. And I don't know why I'm picking her. I don't know why. Because I think Kelsey Plum's just going to smirk.
Oh, Natasha Cloud is from Pennsylvania. No.
Plum is going to smirk and tick off people more.
Whereas
she is
going to talk.
Cloud
she is going to
talk us out of that alleyway.
Yeah.
Whoever we run into. And Diggins, you want to know what Diggins? If she turns and runs, I can't keep up with her.
Kelsey Plum's from California.
Yeah, I'm picking
Skylar,
Cloud.
where are you from? Hold on, let me just see. Skylar.
I don't know why. I just think that she's gonna verbalize her dogness and get us out of any kind of trouble.
She's from South Bend, Indiana. She's from Indiana.
Who is? Diggins?
Diggins is from South Bend, Indiana.
Oh, yeah.
That
makes sense.
Jen Estival says, I would pick Chelsea Gray. Karen says, London, I'm taking Angel Reese with me.
Actually, Angel Reese is a good pick, too.
Yo. Angel Reese is a good pick. But I feel like Asia didn't grow up she grew up in South Carolina.
Yeah.
In a not great town, I feel like.
I mean,
she's also
the looks on their face, Asia Wilson's look on her face.
Honestly, actually, Alyssa Thomas.
I will ask you this one more thing. God, we're going to go into triple overtime. When the Aces played the Suns, did you see Tina Charles and Asia Wilson after the game?
Yeah.
Freaking awesome.
I love both. I love Tina Charles.
I love
Tina Charles so much.
I'm like, and here's another reason why
Yep.
we love the W so much.
Yep.
Autographing the sneakers,
Yep.
having their pictures taken together, and I'm like, that's so. And then I watched Asia Wilson go up to somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe it was somebody she knew.
Yeah.
But she just kind of, here, give me your phone, have a picture taken, and boom, off she goes. And I'm like, you're such a dog.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this, when Asia Wilson has that RBF look,
Yeah.
she scares the living daylights
And
out
she's
of me.
also super, she's 6'4" or something.
She is, yes.
But
her face scares me.
She does.
This scares me.
I'd pick Asia.
Skylar Diggins scares me.
Yeah.
And Kelsey Plum, her face doesn't scare me, but when she smirks,
Yeah. But you're
she
right.
says so much with that smirk.
But you're right. She would get us in way more trouble. Way more trouble.
She'd smirk and she'd be like,
She'd be talking
and
back.
we'd get in trouble.
Yo.
Cloud
would be like, yo, shut up right now.
Yes. Cloud would be like, I can talk us out of this. We're
Yeah.
going to be fine.
Yeah.
Let me just talk to them.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Plum would get us in a shit ton of trouble.
Absolutely.
Skylar Diggins, I don't know. I don't know. But with that, thanks, bud. This was a lot of fun.
This was a fun one.
This was fun. Watch Super Regionals this weekend.
Yes.
NBA, NHL playoffs. Get out and support your local high school sports as the spring season wraps up. I think we'll be back next Wednesday.
Sure.
Have an amazing Memorial weekend. Enjoy it, because I hear on Sunday
The sun is back.
the sun will be on. It might hit 60 because this 40-degree weather in May.
I'm not about it.
Ridiculous.
Not about it.
That's not on anybody's bingo card, my friend.
No.
Hey, we'll see you next Wednesday. Have a great Memorial weekend. Only $1.